before you begin, you may wish to find yourself a comfortable, safe space where you know you will not be interrupted, not be interrupted, not be interrupted, not be interrupted, not be interrupted. Hi, welcome to our weekly pull with the Rebel Heart Tarot, a brand new deck by myself, Alice Grist, and Niki Cotton. You can pre-order these cards, and these videos are intended to help you get to know the cards, but also to explore a little bit of your life. So we are going to give these cards a shuffle, and whilst I'm shuffling them, maybe you'd like to say hi, Niki.
Hi. Yeah, I was just putting my glasses on there and I was thinking, oh, actually, you're in HD now.
Oh,
I should wear them more often because I can actually see with them when they're on. Yeah, I can't believe we're on the week. Was it week 4?
This is the fourth week of us pulling the cards.
We've waited so long for these, and we're actually able to start talking about them. And before we know it, 4 weeks have passed. It's just mad.
Yeah. And next week will be the Halloween week card. This is the Halloween vibe run up, though. I think it's really important that we kind of stretch Halloween out as long as we can, because, you know, we're all witches here, aren't we?
We are. Oh, well, that feels like destiny.
Well, that feels like the card that needs to be. Oh. Do you know, it's come out, all right, and I'm going to keep this to myself a second. It's come out with me talking about keeping Halloween going as long as possible, but then we have Temperance, which is like balance and pause and a little bit of magic, I feel. And I think, is this the first major arcana that we have pulled in the weekly readings that we've been doing?
Yeah, it is.
Almost like, hold your horses, Alice. It's not Halloween yet.
It's because you're excited.
I'm too excited. So Temperance, Niki, do you want to talk us through the artwork there?
Yeah, so this is my friend Shelley, who's an artist, and she lives in Lake Tahoe in America. And I had asked her to be part of the cards, and she was taking this in the middle of winter, standing in her hot tub in her underpants with freezing air around her and thick snow. And her husband was dressed up in big jackets and woolly hats, and they'd got me on a phone propped up while he was taking photos. So I was art directing through the phone, like so much of this project has been. I was art directing her to lift her elbow a bit more, put the other elbow down, turn into the light a bit more so that we could capture this image. It was good fun, actually. I think so much of this project has been utterly bonkers. But the picture, I love that stillness of that lake, which is a lake from up in North Wales. I can't remember which one it is. The kids would be able to tell me. We were going to a rally to watch actually cars driving through the woods, and this lake was just so still, and there was a bit of mist on top of it. I happened to stop and take a picture, and I think that stillness fits with this card so well.
It's a beautiful, I think it's one of my favorites. There's just a depth of peacefulness to it. You've got this kind of roaring, is it a leopard or a cheetah's head with what almost looks like a birthday cake on its head, but it's a crown. And it's pouring
a drop of water, actually. It was a drop of water that kind of went up.
Oh,
yeah. So
it is a drop of water.
Yeah. So I edited it, and then it became this kind of crown-like existence. I think it's a jaguar face as well.
It looks like a crown. It looks just like a crown, but no, it's a drop of water. And then you've got this rainbow pouring from the teapot into this lovely cup, and just the peacefulness. And I think the temperance, the meaning there is just this, how can we just pause? It's not Halloween yet. It's not, it's not wherever we're trying to go to next. We're not there yet. So how can we just be with everything that we're with, which may be sticky, which may be difficult, which may lend itself to inner peace, or even maybe a little bit of turmoil beneath the surface. But how is that turmoil necessary for us to really get where we are, who we are, what we're doing, before we perhaps move on into Halloween and other exciting events of life?
I also think with this, if you kind of pull it on from last week with that whole kind of connection of allow yourself to dream and maybe journal and action stuff and start thinking through things and allow stuff to bubble up, maybe this is the moment to also sit with some of those ideas, sit with some of those actions and kind of maybe kind of balance them out, you know, just cut away the stuff that's not working, breathe life into the stuff that is working, and just not rush with anything, just sit with it.
Yeah, so for anybody who's been following our videos week upon week, which obviously we've only been doing for 4 weeks, so if you have, thank you. Are you beginning to see how these cards are reflecting your journey personally? And you may have your own completely unique and individual circumstances, and yet the cards continue to speak to them in some way. Let us know in the comments below, because we are really, you know, we love those kind of stories. We live for those kind of stories, and we would love to hear how these cards and our ramblings about them are, I guess, causing knowings within yourself to rise to the surface. So what I will do now is have a little look in the guidebook that comes with the Rebel Heart Tarot to have a little see what I wrote in there about this particular card. When I can locate it: temperance, patience, divine timing, surrender, recovery, healing. I think one of the most beautiful things about divine timing is it takes it outside of your time frame and it moves it into something that's perhaps meant to be, but in with that unknown factor that therefore means we can surrender and we don't have to be, you know, on it all the time. So life has its way with us, doesn't it? Just our plans are forced into submission, and the divine asserts its right to do with us as it wills. There is power in this if we surrender. Temperance is a call to allow life to flow through us, not trying to control it, flow through us, to surrender and release control and accept the things we cannot change. In the meantime, we sit in stillness, trusting that stillness holds the depths of courage, wisdom, and learning we sorely need. So that's just a little bit of what I've written about temperance. Then the prompt is, how can I expand and evolve into stillness? Whilst the affirmation is, I surrender to divine timing. It's not up to you. It's not your time frame.
I was going to say, which actually is a lesson for us in the world today, isn't it? Because we're so used to that whole, you know, we want it now. It's that kind of instant gratification that we all kind of buy into in that sense, and actually allowing things to manifest in their own time, which in a way these cards have been a lesson in patience for us, haven't they? Because we kind of really intense working period of 4 months while we were putting all the images and the words together, and it was kind of like, yeah, it just took over everything, didn't it? And then we've had this period of time where it's kind of been almost felt like limbo before we've actually had them in our hands and been able to start talking about them and using them. And it is that thing of just learning to let go, and they will come when they come, things will happen when they happen, and there's the more you push sometimes, the more the world resists.
Absolutely. And I think you don't have to be good at surrendering or good at being patient. It's just keep bringing yourself back to that place. I mean, I wasn't very patient last week when waiting for these cards to arrive. And, you know, you tie yourself up in knots over it, but then you return to the lesson, to the patience, to the surrender over and over. I feel like it's been one of the major life lessons of my life, particularly over the last 10 years. Surrender. You think you've surrendered enough, you are forced to surrender even further, but it takes you places slowly.
Yeah. I remember one year, I remember one year having, you know, when you pick a word for the year, picking the word patience, I learned very quickly to be very careful what words I picked for the year, because that year was just a constant lesson of patience. And I am the most impatient person going. So learning patience daily was really difficult.
It's so hard. It's so hard and life gets in the way, and we'll do everything to test your patience. I guess that's why it's a kind of a phrase that we're all familiar with. It's a lesson in life. It's a spiritual lesson. It's a hard lesson. but maybe that's where we go pour ourselves a nice cup of tea, gaze out at the lake and think, okay, I'm here. I'm just going to be here for a moment longer, and let that moment stretch as long as you can.
And that's a really nice place to sit.
I want to go there. It's gorgeous. All right, then. So this was our Rebel Heart Tarot card for this week. We'll have another coming next week, and next week is Halloween. So please do join us. And of course, if you come to these cards outside of the time frame, and it just so happens that you're watching them, maybe there's something that you need from the card at this moment in time that is particular to you. So don't worry if you are out of time or out of sync with these. Get these ordered, pre-order them all over the world, different shops, different stores, order them into your local bookseller, and you'll have them around the 8th of December, just in time for Christmas. Thank you, and subscribe. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.